I'm Dr. Rod Kurthy. I've been involved in research and development for about 40 years, so I always look at things from a science and engineering perspective. And I'm also a cigar enthusiast. So let's talk about the science of cigar smoking and how that relates to the engineering design features of the PerfecDraw. Now, remember, the PerfecDraw is not just some cigar tool to unplug a plugged cigar, although it works well for that too. The PerfecDraw is an intricately designed instrument intended to routinely use whenever the draw of any cigar is less than absolutely perfect. It will always create a delightful, perfect draw every cigar, every time. Let's consider a few things. The main reason for a draw that's tighter than you'd ideally like it to be is that there's too much tobacco filler packed inside the cigar binder and wrapper. The only way to genuinely correct the draw is to remove the excess tobacco exactly where you need to. Premium cigars are hand-rolled. That means some variability in the draw. Even with the same brand and type cigar, there are usually several different cigar rollers that make the same cigars. One roller may create a slightly different tightness than another roller. And even from cigar to cigar made by the same roller, there will be some variation in the draw. Most of us usually cut or punch our cigar and then check the draw before we light the cigar. But have you ever noticed that the draw becomes a bit tighter after you light the cigar? That's due in part to the physics of thermal expansion. You probably already know that heat causes matter to expand. So when you light your cigar, the heat from the burning ember causes the surrounding tobacco to expand quickly, which makes the draw a little tighter. Pay attention to that the next time you smoke a cigar. The other thing to consider is that a well-humidified cigar has moisture in the tobacco. When the heat of the burning ember causes that moisture to evaporate, the moisture is drawn up inside the cigar, and the internal of the cigar becomes even more moist. So the tobacco absorbs more moisture, causing even more swelling of the tobacco and even a little more tightness of the draw. I always keep these things in mind when using the PerfecDraw. I like to start out with a draw that's even just a little looser than I really want, because I know the draw will tighten up just a little after I light my cigar. Next, we'll talk about the engineering design of the PerfecDraw. It's engineered to do two separate things. First, notice the tobacco cutting blades. These blades are very sharp, so they cut tiny fragments of tobacco off to remove some of the excess tobacco from inside the cigar. But we do not want to simply drill a hole up the middle of the cigar. We'd ideally like to be able to pull on and loosen the surrounding tobacco so the smoke will travel more easily through the tobacco. So we've designed tobacco pulling channels along the sides of the PerfecDraw. These tobacco pulling channels have ridges that are not nearly as sharp, so they pull on the tobacco more than cutting it. We've created the perfect balance between cutting tobacco to remove the excess tobacco, causing the draw to be a little tighter than we'd ideally like, and pulling the tobacco to loosen the surrounding tobacco in the cigar, which gives us that perfect draw every cigar, every time. Thanks for watching.